Hello, gamers, and welcome to Budget Arcade, a free-to-play gaming podcast to help you navigate through the growing realm of free-to-play games. I'm Scott.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Cody.
And like that scab that just won't go away, it's me, Elliot.
Hey!
I thought that was a rash.
And welcome...
Well, you keep scratching.
Fun to
peeling
scratch,
it,
but it's not really good for you.
Still there. A little smaller every week, and eventually I'll disappear.
It's probably
You
crabs.
flare back up.
Yeah, well, some of us flare back up. Well, wow, I've never been compared to that.
Gosh.
Scott, you can feel free to edit that one out.
You know, everybody's got worms.
Let's have a talk about how we're not going to do this. Not even a minute in.
All right, welcome to episode 14, everybody. A little bit of gaming news. Apparently, Sims 4 is now free-to-play,
Yeah,
according
this
to
week.
Elliot.
Boo.
And also, Realm Royale is also now on the
Yes, I did
Switch.
download it.
Now, I pulled it up. Is it free on Switch, or are they doing like they did with Paladins, where it was just the Founders Pack first?
No, it's full-fledged 100% game is on
Yeah,
the
I
Switch
downloaded
now.
it, but I have not played
Okay.
it yet on the Switch.
Well, you know, it's not going to be any
Yeah.
different from anywhere else. You may like it a little bit better on the Switch because you really enjoyed the way Paladins
Yeah,
felt on the
that's
Switch.
true.
Yeah, not my favorite.
All right, Cody, what are we playing this week?
This week we're playing Dauntless, a free-to-play game developed by Phoenix Labs, published by Epic Games. It's an action role-playing game on the Xbox, PlayStation, and PC? Yeah,
Yes.
PC. And it...
PC, yeah. PC within the Epic Game Store.
Got you. And it has a ESRB of T for teen, so anybody 12 and under, no go for you. Sorry, but
Just stop the
with that,
podcast
let's,
right
get
now.
into the gameplay.
Yeah, turn this off.
Elliot's too young to play
Crap.
it.
Yeah.
Wow, you're married.
Fold
under
again,
12.
yes.
God, you're doing better than me, and I'm 27. I can't even get a
Isn't
girlfriend.
that true about everyone? Should we talk about
Anyway,
that?
So let's
Gameplay.
talk a little bit about the gameplay. It's a third-person hack and slash, very similar to what everybody keeps saying is Monster Hunter, or Monster Hunter Worlds.
I would say Monster Hunter Light.
You do have Monster Hunter Light. Okay, I haven't played Monster Hunter, so I'm not sure how it stacks up to Monster Hunter. But this game, it employs. Okay, first off, let's say this game is 100% cross-play ability. You can play on the Xbox with your friends that are on the PS4 or on the PC. There is no barriers.
This is the first
whatsoever.
game to do that out of the box, which is
Yeah,
a big
I'm
thing.
wondering how
Yes.
long it's going to be able to do that on PlayStation, since they are pretty anti-crossplay. I don't even know if PlayStation is aware necessarily, but we'll see.
I think that Epic has some sort of deal with PlayStation because not only is this game crossplay, but so
Yeah,
is Fortnite.
and Fortnite operates
Is
the same
it?
way. Yes, I've done it. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with Fortnite, you just have to have your friends, Epic
Yes.
Games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and once you connect that way, you can play crossplay with that as well.
Well, then I take back
So
what
it's
I
something
said.
with Epic.
Unfortunately, though, most of the time that you do crossplay like that, when they did it in Fortnite, if you do crossplay, console gamers are going to have a hell of a disadvantage because obviously mouse and keyboard are a superior way to aim. But this game is purely co-op, so
True.
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
you're-
it's
you're gonna
not
have-
an aim-based game.
Right.
You do have guns in it, but it's
Yeah,
not
I don't-
super important that you aim with them. Well,
Right.
I say that, but it's not.
Well,
it's
it
not
is
super
with
super
some of
accurate.
the
You don't
actions.
have like a sniper rifle.
Well, it's
Yeah,
it's
no,
you versus
nothing
the
like that.
computer, not you versus another person, which is, I think, a big difference.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes a huge difference.
What this game has is what's called behemoths. The behemoths are different what's the words
Monsters.
I want? Elemental abilities. Well, they're monsters, but they have elemental abilities associated with them. There's fire, there's ice, there's thunder, and then there's like an earth, and then there's a neutral. And you party up with a group of 4 to attempt to take down a behemoth on each level.
You can actually do
third person?
solo hunts if you want to, or private hunts, so you don't actually bring anybody else in except for your friends. That is an
That's
option
all
you
I
do
got
have.
to do. I didn't get to play
Correct.
with anyone else, and so
I played
solo
with other
hunts
people,
was kinda-
but there's no
Where I ended up living.
I've done all three myself, just friends, randos. I found playing with random people that almost always I had one or two people leave the party before the hunt was over. Almost always.
I never had that issue.
I only had that a couple times. The big thing I had with randoms was people. So you start off each round with 5 healing potions that you can use whenever your health is low, but you also have these syringes that will allow you to revive yourself when you're downed. The problem is with it, when you get to the later behemoths, if you use those syringes too early on, there's a point where the behemoth becomes so enraged that you cannot be revived by your teammates. So if you use those syringes too early, you can't revive yourself during that time, and you're down for the rest of the fight.
At least with all the ones that I went through.
Well, only if so the rage, once it's at 100% though, and you can't be revived by your teammates. You either have to scare the behemoth off, and usually I've only noticed that happens whenever you get the behemoth down to like half health, and then they run away. That either has to happen, or you have to beat the behemoth. So if you don't beat that behemoth while you're in that point of time, and everybody gets down, you're done with that round, and you don't get
so if
you don't get the credit for beating it.
So if you
don't get all the rewards that you would.
But you still get the
gotten.
stuff that you gathered.
So if you enrage it,
which is kind of
down,
nice.
Yes, you do get the stuff
you're
you
done
gather
for the rest of the thing, even if it becomes even if it comes out of rage. Incorrect, because I did that with the Shrike, I think it was called, the big owl. It would just become randomly, and like we would do some damage to it, it'd become enraged, and we would fight it for a little bit. Obviously, you don't want to get near it because it does a lot of damage. But then it calms down for a second. You have a chance.
Well,
to
no. See, okay, so
you're thinking of a different enrage.
You're thinking of the one where they turn red and they're like angry and they get a little bit more of a power boost. No, this has there's a icon in the top right hand corner of your HUD, and I'm trying to remember what it was actually called. It's not like enrage, but it's like it's a threat level or something like that. Once that threat level, and it's a percentage. The longer the fight goes along, the higher that threat level gets, and once it hits 100%, you cannot.
See, I never
go,
had that problem.
You can't go back
me
after
and
that.
All of my teammates, every time I got into a hunt, we literally all jumped in and we just started wailing on the thing as much as we could, using every one of our abilities as often as we could, and. We like every one of us would just take turns tanking the hits, because obviously it can only attack one person or it'll focus on one person at a time. An attack can hit multiple people, but we just kept wailing on the thing till it was dead. It never got to that point, so I never saw that.
Now let me ask you: did you unlock the patrols?
No.
Yeah,
that's why the patrols are way harder, and you get way more loot from them, and the fact that they're so much harder, that's when you get into that situation.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I did play quite a few hunts, and I ended up playing the same ones a couple of times because I'm an idiot, and I thought that it required you to wait 21 hours to like fuse a new one of the missions. You have to infuse these cells that power up your gear. You have to show the guy like, hey, I put one in, and you'll earn them just by playing the game. But I had a bunch of them on hand. I thought you actually had to make them. So I was like, oh, this is stupid. I can't play the game for 22 hours because I got to wait for this thing, and I'm not paying money just to speed it up. So literally I played the same. I faced the Ice Behemoth and the Thunder Behemoth a couple of times. I was like, all right, well, this is dumb, I'm done. So, and then I figured out later it's just like you just have to put one into your weapon or your armor, and then it's like, okay, you're good.
And facing the same behemoth over and over again is not a bad thing, because you're getting materials every time you win to be able to craft the armor for that specific behemoth, and then you can also upgrade the armor as well as the weapon. Also, like as you progress and you get new behemoths and you beat them, you can craft new weapons for that specific behemoth as well. And those weapons, because they are elemental based, Your fire weapon is going to do more damage to an ice behemoth, but also your ice weapon is going to do more damage to the fire behemoth. But if you're wearing fire armor against the ice behemoth, you're going to take more damage, and vice versa.
And that was kind of a cool aspect. Monster Hunter did do that to a degree. Like, there was weaknesses that the monsters had, but it wasn't quite as prolific as this. At least, and if anybody plays Monster Hunter, I'm sorry, I didn't get super far into it. I did enjoy the game, but yeah, it wasn't quite as prolific as this game was. I will say the biggest thing to me was that, all right, so there's several different types of weapons. There was the sword, the hammer, the pike, dual blades, axe, and guns. Yeah, did I get all of them?
Chain blades is what you mean.
Yeah, chain blades, dual blades, same thing.
Well, not quite, because the chain blades you can actually throw out and hit the thing from a distance.
Well, yeah, you can hook onto people and drag them in. That was the first weapon I used until I got the guns, and then I just used those the entire time.
Oh yeah, and the guns are awesome.
Oh yeah,
like the guns.
You also had quests to use each weapon too. Like you had to do so much damage with each weapon,
and there's a huge questing system in this game too. I think I'm sitting on like 7 or 8 quests right now.
I think I have 9 or 10. Yeah,
or maybe like 10, something like that. Yeah, I think I might be up to 10 now. But it's like each quest like just compounds on the next one, because as you behemoths, they unlock new behemoths, and you're supposed to do those behemoths and then the next one and the next one. But a lot of times you have to do the older ones just to be able to upgrade your armor, because whenever you go into a fight, you queue up to the fight, and then you go into the waiting screen where you can select your loadout of your whatever armor you've got and your weapons. But there's also, to the right-hand side of that, it shows your weapon power and your armor power. And if it's in the red, that means whatever you're wearing is not going to stack up to the level of the behemoth that you're facing. So you want to have it in the green to be able to not take damage as much, or to do more damage to the behemoth.
Not to say that you can't do it that way, it's just going to be harder for you to
much harder
accomplish
though.
that.
Oh yeah, way harder, especially if your team is the same way.
Yeah, I was a few points under for one of them. I can't remember which one it was, but I was just I was maybe like 5 or 10 points below, but I took a little bit more damage, but it wasn't like substantial to the point I just couldn't do the hunt.
Yeah, a lot of queuing in this game. You queue for the hunt, you get to the group, you queue to actually go into the hunt. A lot of waiting in this game.
Yeah. So one thing I gotta say, because we keep bringing up Monster Hunter, is one of the frustrations. Cody and I both bought Monster Hunter World because it was co-op, and we're like, "Oh hell yeah,
and then
we're gonna do this."
out on me.
And I'll tell you why. 2 reasons I don't like Monster Hunter. The main thing is the multiplayer is balls.
What's balls about
we
it?
couldn't play together.
You can't.
The main thing is
it's so hard to get together.
Cody, I got this. I got it.
You just wanted to say balls, didn't you?
The whole time. It's my time.
Freely interject, Jeff.
My time.
It's an open conversation.
Again, Scott, thank you so much for
anyway.
inviting me on. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Hey, Elliot, balls.
Good. I think Cody's the only one that hasn't said balls yet, so just get it out of the way, please, Cody.
I refuse. Jeff, continue.
I'm leaving.
Jeffrey, continue.
I'm done. I'm out. Anyway, to take a quote from Cody. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, so the 2 things I don't like about Monster Hunter that this game does a whole lot better is, the first thing is the multiplayer in Monster Hunter World was so frustrating to get into a game together, because the only way we could play together was to replay missions that we'd already completed.
I hate that.
And so it was like, what's the point? And when we were playing it, and there were some other games recently that we played that the multiplayer was so frustrating on, I'm like, why can't they get this figured out? Because we played like Saints Row 3, one of my favorite games, and you just get in a game together and you go play, and it shouldn't be that complex. This game does their multiplayer a lot better. The number one reason I do not like Monster Hunter, and I prefer this game over it, is because Monster Hunter, you're like in a perpetual state of being stunned or knocked down, and you lose control of your character just so often. In this, I felt like the action was more intuitive. It felt good to slay monsters, and the only thing that and Scott shared this opinion with, or actually said it first, and I agreed, is that it could use a lock-on system, a way to focus down on one particular monster. That way you could maintain damaging that one. But other than that, there's a lot about it that is better than Monster Hunter, with the exception the graphics on Monster Hunter are amazing, and these are just kind of meh.
Okay, so as far as that lock-on is considered, there is a workaround for that in the game that I found out a little bit later. If you're on Xbox, you just want to click your left thumbstick, and it'll actually center back on the monster. And that's ability is throughout all 3 versions. I don't know what the button is for PlayStation.
It's the
I
same.
assume it's probably the left thumbstick as well. Okay, and then it's one of the button keys on PC, but it does have that ability. And when that was actually brought up to the devs, we want a lock-on system. They're like, well, the issue with it is there's different parts of the monsters that you can damage. It's not just, the center mass of the monster or the head or whatever. You can take out the tail. You can take out the head. You can take out the front plates and all. I was fighting one of the fire monsters who does this little thing. I think his name was like Grog or something like that. But he has like these flamethrowers that shoot out from his shoulders and his rear end, basically, on both sides. You do enough damage to any side of that, and he doesn't get that ability to shoot those fire projectiles anymore. But it all depends on where you attack him at to be able to damage him enough to where he can't do that any longer.
Okay, so I want to counteract that real fast. So, Monster Hunter has the same mechanic. You can break off their tail, you can break a headpiece, leg piece, like body armor, whatever they have. You can break it. A lock-on system's not going to prevent that. If you do a Z targeting where it focuses on the base of the monster, you can very easily run to the tail, or you can go behind to work on the tail. You can go to the front to work on the head. You can go to the side to work on the body. You can move around to that, and that I will disagree with the devs on that. And if they think it's going to be that much of an issue,
I agree with you on that.
Implement a multi-targeting system.
If they were to make it like a Zelda type of thing, like what is it, Ocarina of Time, if they were to do it similar to that, I think it would work perfectly. Where you lock into like the center mass of it, and then you can run around the monster if you want, and do a sidestep or a roll.
And that's what Monster Hunter does. And I never had an issue with the lock-on system. And like I said, if they have a big issue with that, make it a multi-target system where, you attack the tail, you attack the body, or you attack the head. Problem solved.
Yeah, true.
So that was my biggest gripe with it. Another thing and the gameplay was just, to me, it was kind of lacking, but I played quite a bit of Monster Hunter World, so that system is way more complex than I would like, but this one seemed way too light.
I find it more frustrating. Like, Monster Hunter is more frustrating. I like the more straightforward nature of this game.
Yeah, and a lot of people are going to like that, but when I've grown accustomed to Monster Hunter and I've learned all these different things that I have to take into account, I ended up really enjoying that. This game, I didn't have to worry about it. So a big thing that I didn't see in this game that was in Monster Hunter was you can actually capture monsters alive in that game by using sleep powder, stuns, and then using cages. It was a really neat concept, and there's 1,000 different ways that you can go about attacking one of these monsters, and I love that aspect. In this game, in Dauntless, I found that missing, but it was still a good game.
I had a couple of quality of life issues, like the HUD system, not being able to find my friends, not knowing my friends' levels. I had problems when I played the game, like mining things or getting stuck. So to me, this felt a lot like I was playing a beta, like a really well done beta, but I still felt very beta to me, where some stuff feels not quite like finalized.
Well, they are doing still a lot of work on the game. I know that much. the devs have been open to tweaks and stuff. So if you're playing this game and you would like to suggest something, I know the devs are very active on the Reddit
and Twitter too.
post
They've
for
been
this,
really active there.
this game.
Well,
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and
and
that
Twitter.
shows too because they had server problems, so then they cut the number of people who could get on. And over the course of the last couple of days, they've we've doubled the amount of servers, we've doubled the amount of people again, and we've doubled it again. So you can tell it's still. It seems very much like still kind of a work in progress.
Yeah, they're polishing it off right now.
That was another big issue I had with this. I would have gotten a lot more playtime out of this, but probably about 5 or 6 times I tried to jump on the Dauntless. The first time I tried to do it, servers were down. All right, cool, it happens, new game, whatever.
So Cody, that's 100% your guys' fault because I texted every one of you and asked you for your emails so I could send it to the devs and we would get priority access because we were doing a review on the game.
I'm looking right now.
Nor did I.
Oh yeah, you did.
I absolutely did not.
We should fight over it. We should fight. Let's have a fight.
Yes, you got a text. I definitely sent that text out.
I'm looking now.
But yeah, none of you responded to me, so I actually had priority to be able to. Every time I got in the game, it would go in, except for the first
couple days is the only time I had a problem. And I think that was everybody having a problem, so that kind of got solved quickly.
Yeah. So I want to commend this game though for its crossplay because Elliot is on the PS4. We also got to play with Guy Alsmighty from Split Push. He is on PS4 as well. So me, Elliot, and Guy were all playing on. I'm on Xbox. They're both on PS4, and it was very smooth playing with them. Elliot didn't have a headset. Well, other than Elliot not having a headset. Yeah, you could hear. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
I got one. I did get one. I bought a very cheap headset the very next day.
I just looked through. I never got that text.
What do you want, Cody?
I literally just looked through. I never got that text.
I'll take it.
I'm looking through. I don't have it either.
Send it to you.
Oh, we are correct. Suck it.
I can't find it.
Yeah, we never got that text from you. So, if you were a standard player like ourselves and don't have special privileges like Scott, there were several days where, the first time I tried to jump into this, the servers were down. Okay, cool. Like I said, I know it's a new game. It happens. The second time I tried to jump on, I got the infinite loading screen. I was like, all right, not looking good for the game. Third time finally got in, I was like, okay, it's not completely like Anthem. But there was about 5 or 6 times where I either got the servers were crashing and I couldn't get in, or I got an infinite loading screen. And I learned out, I will say that I learned after the fact that if you get the infinite loading screen, if you actually shut down the game and reopen it, it'll fix it sometimes. I did it the first time, I got the infinite loading screen again, and I just gave up. But that was one of my biggest gripes with it, was just the servers. But I'm sure they'll get that worked out eventually.
Does anyone have the numbers for how many people they had playing this first week? It was crazy high, wasn't it?
50,000 or 50,000, I think.
Yeah,
no, it was more than that. I would have to look it up.
It had to be way more.
It was a
That
lot.
sounds low for an Epic game.
It's on their Twitter. I know it's on their Twitter. Give me a second, I'll pull it up.
But yeah, like I said, the biggest thing I would like for them to implement, lock-on system, improve the servers, and I would like to see more items that you could customize your weapons, armor.
Really, I felt like there was a lot of customization here.
Oh, there's a ton of customization.
Oh, yeah, for real.
But like I said, I come from World of Monster Hunter where things are kind of basic, but then you have to add things onto it and plan and prep for that. So just the 4 consumables, I'm used to having like 10 to 15 items I take into battle with me every time, and I have to think about, all right, I need to sharpen my weapons to make sure they keep up with or they keep sharp so they do damage. I need to make sure that I have a certain elemental effect with it. I need to keep traps with me in case I need to trap one. I need to keep stuns. I need to keep sleep powders. I need to keep this. I need to keep that, health potions, stamina regen, all of that stuff.
I feel you here with that, but I don't think that's what they're going for with this game. Like, I think they're strictly not doing that on purpose.
I think they're making a more mainstream Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter is a great game, and it has a diehard fan base, but obviously a Monster Hunter is not for everyone.
I mean, I love that I can pick up and play this game for 20 minutes and I have accomplished something. You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's
and that's
fair.
like, so Monster Hunter, on the flip side, Monster Hunter's battles can last upwards of an hour fighting one monster.
I'm 32, man. I ain't got time for that.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but that's sometimes is enough. I mean, to fight one thing.
Yeah.
So,
man,
I like that it's more accessible. It's more streamlined. I don't have to dedicate an hour or more to it every time I sit down. I like the controls a lot better. I like the way it moves a lot better. And I like not getting stun locked every half second. Yeah, that's the big thing. The fact that I don't get stunned the whole game is the best.
Although,
just you talking about Monster Hunter was giving me anxiety.
in combat, I hated like constantly fighting and then trying to stop my fighting to dodge something, and it like was still doing the animation of like the swing. I hated that. I found that really kind of frustrating at times.
That's similar to Monster Hunter, though. I mean, but it's way less prevalent in this.
I found that if you don't button mash so much, that doesn't
Scott,
happen. So
I
you have
only
to actually
button mash,
time your
man.
button mashes.
I
know
So that's why you have to play a
roll it
button.
Chill
against
out.
my controller. What happens, happens.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that this game it's very much like Monster Hunter in the fact that you can't just button mash. If you button mash, you're gonna get hit a lot. You have to time and plan everything that you do.
I found that true in
I liked.
solo, but man, when I was playing with a group of people, I was just mashing stuff and like having sweet, cool combos.
Oh yeah.
But like when I would play by
what I
myself,
did
you had to
this
be
game.
really careful.
It also depends on which behemoth you're attacking, because some of them, like the one fire one that's like looks like a dog, moves. Yeah,
Dog
Embermane. It moves around so much. No, Embermane is the name of it, but it moves around so much that you have to time it correctly, or you're gonna miss because he'll move out of the way like so quickly. So you can do like maybe one, maybe two hits if you're lucky, as long as you hit him when he first stops. But then after that, he moves so quickly that you're missing the rest of your shots. I just pulled it up. As of yesterday, it was more than 5 million
That's
players
crazy.
to play this game.
And the game released
50,000, huh?
The early release
Way
was,
off, bruh.
What? Not this past Friday, but the Friday before.
Yeah, shut up. I knew there was a 5 in there.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. A for effort.
There was at least 5 people logged on. 4 of them were us.
Yes.
So, and Guy, that makes 5.
So this gameplay is very repetitive, but that's only to be able to unlock each item. And actually, I'm surprised, Cody, you didn't like this game as much because of all the ability for your completionist nature to take over, because there's so many quests, so many...
So I'm gonna stop you right there. So there was a fine line between having a game that's super short and super simple and easy to complete, and it's like, okay, whatever. It's a whole nother ballgame when they throw so much stuff at you. You would have to sink hundreds of hours to finish this. And as soon as I saw everything that you could do, I was like, shutting down. Not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I just hear that Cody's not up for
I
the
hear
challenge.
complaining about
I'm
content
not.
is what I hear.
No,
It sounds
there
like
is
you're
a
com-
ton of
There's
replayability
too much
to this.
stuff
I am
to do
not grinding
here.
through all those missions. I refuse. Y'all can say whatever you want. I'm not doing it. I'm a completionist, and I will
I'm
not
just
do
hearing
that.
Cody's dulcet tones. Sounds good. It's nice.
Hey, baby.
There's too much
Yeah.
to do.
So let's talk about what paying... Yeah, let's talk about what paying gets you in this game.
It gets you
It
scanned.
looks like cosmetics, as far as I could tell. I didn't see anything that I would necessarily object to. It looked like it was...
Okay, so you can purchase platinum, and that is the in-game currency. And with the platinum, you can purchase emotes. You can purchase their hunt pass, which is their game pass, obviously. You can purchase, their battle pass. Sorry, game pass, battle pass, hunt pass, whatever pass. Pass gas. It's different for each game. But you can also purchase skins. you can purchase what's called the flares, and the flares were a system when you're out on the hunt. If your party members find the behemoth, they can send the flare up, and you'll be able to see the flare where they are located at, the direction that they're located in. Which, you know, that was pretty good. But like Elliot had said, I would like to have more of a party beacon.
I don't know if it was
HUD.
you or Guy who had brought up the Skyrim map. How, like, when you're in a town, you can see where certain things are on that little HUD up top. That's perfect. Yeah, like I don't need a big map. I don't need a mini map. That would be just enough to be like, he's in this direction, would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I would like to see too.
I was gonna say, I wish they would give you some indication, because my teammates would shoot a flare and I would have no idea.
I had that problem too.
Even if they give you a
the flare comes up on that HUD.
Does it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was about to say
Yes, but it's only there until the flare goes away. So if you know the direction, you can run in that direction, but a lot of times it moves around just a little bit. So unless they're like throwing up flares every once in a while so that you can actually make it to them, it's kind of pointless, because if you're far enough away, it's going to take you so long to get to them that you
felt
may
like
lose
when
it
we
out where
were,
the flare was
I felt like
actually
when
at.
we were playing together, like just chatting was way better than a flare would ever be, you know. So if I'm going to be with random
but the flare
people,
was a cool idea.
yeah, if I'm going to be with
it.
random people, make the flare better. If I'm not playing with friends, you know, if I'm not being able to talk.
With randos, you can scream all you want and say, "Hey, take a left at the bush." You can scream all you want. That's not going to happen.
And then he just makes fun of my mom
part.
some more. Like, thanks.
Okay, so anyways, you can purchase the flares. They got
I
several
thought it was kind of funny, but
Didn't even touch it.
it's fine.
Then he used Cody's catchphrase, so anyways.
By the way, thank you for making me self-conscious
Yes, whatever.
about that. Now I'm actually wondering how much
You're
I actually say that.
welcome. All the time.
Well, I could take a count.
Oh, I say
I'd rather you not.
all the time.
No. What you should do, Scott, we should have a bonus episode that's just a super cut
that's
of
fantastic.
every time he says so anyway.
Almost
I know.
worth doing.
You know what? I told Elliot he needs to do that with his other podcast, him and his buddy Jay.
Oh, my God.
His buddy Jay just has this crazy laugh. I mean, he laughs all the
he's
freaking
the funny-
time.
he thinks
I want
he's the
Elliot to
funniest
do a
guy
super
ever.
cut of that. Oh, I know. He laughs at
sounds
himself
like me.
ridiculously, like over the top every time.
I finally
No, like,
found a way
way
to make
worse.
his laugh not so awful when I'm editing. So look out for that. I think I finally fixed that problem.
Coming soon to a
And the
podcast
answer was
about
not
radio.
to get rid of him,
Jeez.
so he'll still be there.
Review grenade. Now less awful.
No,
Yes,
don't
Review
listen to
Grenade.
Review Grenade. Listen to Tessa and Elliot argue. That's the one I want people to listen to.
Okay, so anyways, flares you can
So
purchase. You can also purchase your
Shut up, Jeff.
starting. What is it? It's like your starting stance whenever you drop down into a hunt. And there's also something else. Oh, you get the coins, which are used within that one character that Cody was talking about earlier, where you fuse your. What are they called?
Yes.
The
Yeah,
cells.
you fuse the cells. If you have so many
Yeah.
of them, you can actually speed up the process. If not, it takes like 22 hours or more.
Yeah, so you can purchase those coins to speed up the cells as well. And I believe that's everything that you can purchase within the game with the platinum currency that you initially purchased.
Yeah, everything seems decent here, right? Like
And,
you're not no pay to win here, which is
Yeah.
I always
Right.
love, right? That's always a plus.
Good. Say what you want about Epic. Their microtransactions in this and Fortnite are fair. You know exactly what you're purchasing, and you never have to
Absolutely.
buy any of them. So it's good.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
I 100% agree.
And on a side note, if you purchase the Hunt Pass, you will recoup half of the platinum that you spent on the Hunt Pass.
Yeah,
in
so
the
if you're
first
playing
place.
anyway, it's almost a no-brainer.
Nice. Well, if you guys play this
Yeah,
more,
I
we
went through
play
and
a
added
ton,
up each
I'll-
platinum that you get. Well, I'm at let me see, I'm at Hunt Pass level 6,
Yeah,
I
I'm
believe,
at 6 as well, actually.
and my character is level 15.
Yeah, I'm 14.
And we've been playing since 3 days before release. But I mean, like the first 3 days before release, we didn't really get very much game time in, just because the servers were so wonky.
Yeah, that first Saturday before, I got a lot of game in before they kind of got wonky. I got lucky.
So let's speak about the replayability.
There's a
I
ton
mean, this
of it.
game is replayability, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's 100%. You know, if you can just go down the list and be like, okay, I'm going to work on my hammer. I'm going to work on all my affinities within my hammer. I'm going to get this, I have to kill so many behemoths with the hammer. I have to do so much damage with the hammer. Once you're done with all that on the hammer, you can switch to the next weapon and the next weapon. And how many weapons there's like 5 weapons, I think we discussed. I'm not going to go back through them just because that was part of the gameplay. But yeah, you've got the affinities for each weapon, and then you have the affinities for each behemoth. So you have to, do whatever, I guess, kill this specific behemoth so many times. You have to do so much damage to this specific behemoth, and it just compounds over time. How much, to be able to complete all of it.
I will say, though, the maps...
You also have...
Do this much damage with an elemental weapon.
Yes.
Do this much damage using a certain ability in a single fight. There's... Oh my god, there's so much.
But also the maps seem very similar, right? They finally started to feel a little different higher up, but that's one of the problems I felt with the replayability is I felt like I'm just doing the same map again and again. The behemoth might be in a different place, but it's still the same colors, the same type of grass.
I agree.
So that was
Kinda
a little
like last week's game.
Yeah.
True. I mean, but they're actually looking into expanding on the way the worlds look as well, but it's in the future that they're working on. I also wanted to add that their timeline for this game, they're working on the Switch version next, and then after the Switch version, they're going to go mobile. So they want to be on every single possible platform with this game, I believe, in a couple years.
Man, mobile seems intense for this.
It does seem a little intense. I don't know how the UI is going to look on that.
It
might be a little bit crowded.
Well, I mean, PUBG and Fortnite do it pretty well, They don't really water it down for them.
I haven't played mobile Fortnite.
I've played it just to try it, I've played, just to be like, oh...
I've played mobile PUBG.
I played mobile Fortnite.
I actually like mobile PUBG better.
I won my first game of mobile PUBG, and then I uninstalled it.
Against those computers, then kick their butts, did you?
I guess so, because it was easy.
Yeah.
They couldn't hit me.
Oh, yeah. Apparently there's bots in that game, too.
Yeah, so you have to... They would have to water this game down a lot, just because of how big the monsters are, how much... Because, good lord, could you imagine trying to swipe around and keep up with the monster while
Not even that, too. That HUD, man. That HUD is, takes up so much space sometimes. It's so, invasive to me. Seeing all that... I don't know, I think the HUD is just big.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm going to leave that one alone.
That's what she said?
He would know. Hey, you're right, I wouldn't.
Has someone actually said that to you? That HUD is big, and you took it as something perverse, Scott?
No.
If someone points out a HUD and says, hey, Jeff, that HUD is big, I'm going to be like, oh, okay, yeah. I'm not going to think they're coming on to me.
Can it be both?
What the hell is wrong with you?
There's a lot of things wrong with me.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway.
Oh, we didn't even take a break today.
Let's take a break. Darren?
Okay. We'll be back.
Do you enjoy learning about weird things that happen in our everyday life?
Woman does karate. Son gets nude. Dog steals cornbread mix from Walmart, police say.
Man marries hologram.
UK installs knife surrender bin to curb knife crime. Criminals steal all the knives.
Just search Tessa and Elliot Argue, that's ELLIOT.
Or visit TessaElliottArgue.com.
Hey, what's going on, Carrington?
Hey, Kyle. Nothing.
What's that? What are you listening to?
Only listen to the greatest indie gaming podcast of all time, Real Dudes Podcast.
Hold on. Real Dudes Podcast?
Yeah, you heard me right. Real Dudes Podcast, the greatest place to find indie reviews, interviews with developers, composers, journalists, and so much more.
What? Oh, hold on. Where can I listen to Real Dudes Podcast?
They have a website at realdudespodcast.com or even your favorite podcasting apps such as iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Podbean, and much more.
Okay. Well, now that I know about Real Dudes Podcast, I am canceling all of my plans. I'm skipping work, and I'm going to just go and listen to them.
Dude, that's what I did.
Real Dudes Podcast, the greatest indie gaming podcast of all time.
So, anyways, what were we talking about?
I
I don't know. I was trying to be clever. I got nothing.
Your big HUD.
Nothing.
Beep that.
Don't bleep anything.
He's gonna have to.
So what are we doing? Okay, so we took a late break. So are we ready to everybody to go around the table and give their final words? Because I know Cody's going to take at least a half an hour.
Do we want to start or end
Yeah,
with
that's
Cody?
true. He'll repeat himself.
Why don't we let
let's
Cody
start
talk
with
while
Cody.
we
Go for
Let's
it,
not
Cody.
end on a
take
sour
our
note,
turns.
right?
Okay, go ahead, Cody.
Cody, what's your seal?
God,
yes or
I
no?
hate every single one of you. It's Monster Hunter Lite. There's a lot of stuff I would like to add to it. Pick it up and play it. It gets my seal. Are you happy?
Wow, that was
A
short
little
and to
less
the point.
depressing next time. That would be nice.
Yeah, for real. Okay, Jeff, does it get your seal?
I was kind of on the fence. Mostly, there's a lot of good here. I don't know. How do we feel about the fact that it's taken and lifted so much from Monster Hunter? I mean, that's really my only objection, is that it is, for the kindest term I can use, heavily inspired by Monster Hunter. And it's kind of corrected some of the things I didn't like that much, but not enough to make me want to play the game even more. So no for me.
All right, Elliot.
I'm gonna give it my seal. There are a lot of things I would change. Just the party beacons. I want to see more like after hunt credits. Who did the most damage? I want to know my friends' levels that I'm playing with. I had some problems playing the game. Like, I got stuck on a wall for like 45 seconds, and I literally, like, my shoulder grazed the wall and I could not move. And I had that happen. Maps felt really similar. I had problems clicking on things. But overall, I had fun. Playing with Scott and Guy, that was a blast. Which I think is what the game's trying to get at. I like that you can play and it's not a huge time commitment, but if you want to play a lot, there is a lot to do here. It might feel a little repetitive, but there's still a lot of content here. I think this game's only going to get better. I probably won't play it as much on the PS4, but man, I love everything about the Switch. I love laying in bed and playing stuff with my Nintendo Switch. So when it comes to Switch, I will probably get it the day it comes out and play a little bit more. So I'm going to give it my seal. I think it's pretty good overall.
I really enjoyed this game. Never playing Monster Hunter, but knowing about the game, I don't see the similarities because obviously I've never played the other one. But I really enjoy the way this does what it does. Like Elliot was saying, though, I would like to see more after fight info. Like, I would like to know how much damage I did, how much my teammates did, all this other, all the other items that could be on that after fight hunt or after hunt fight, where we can just see what statistics we've done would be really nice. I want to commend the crossplay of this game because it's amazing. Not only did we get to play via other systems, other consoles, but I also got to play with a streamer who was streaming this. I was like, hey, you want to party up? We could play for a little bit. And he and I played, which was really nice to play. And actually, I noticed something very interesting. I'm on a regular Xbox One. I don't have the One X. But he was on PC, and his load times were insanely faster than mine. Like, I was sitting there at a loading screen, and he was in there waiting to...
hard drive is probably what it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just
he was...
PC.
But, I mean, he... Well, no, I don't think it's just on PC. I think that if I had an Xbox One X, my load times would be faster
They
like
weren't
that as well.
great. It's
But
almost assuredly that dude has a solid state hard drive, and those things load so fast.
All right. Well, either way. I also ended up playing a game where everybody in my party was German and speaking German, so I couldn't understand a freaking word they were saying. But it was hilarious because, I'd say... a couple of American words, and I could tell they were making fun of me.
Okay.
But it was still fun to play with them.
I have to tell a story, and you're going to have to get your bleeper ready because I can't tell it without saying the bad word. I was playing a racing game on the original Xbox Live Online. It was kind of early in the morning. And so I got in the racing game and I'm driving and I'm hearing everyone is speaking either Korean or Japanese. I don't really know the difference. And so I'm in this party, everybody's talking, and I just ask, I said, does anyone here speak English? And the guy goes, oh, yeah, you.
It's good.
So it's like me, except, you know.
It's basically, I'm pretty sure it was Cody.
Asian Cody. Okay, so yeah, back to it. It definitely gets my seal. I loved playing the game. I'll probably continue to play this game. But yeah, so it is Budget Arcade approved. Next week, we are going to be playing another new game, Minion Masters. This one was actually suggested by Cody, who was suggested by... Yeah. Who told you about the game? Was it? It was your buddy, right?
Yeah, it was my buddy Jay. He recommended it. It only came out 3 or 4 days ago now. Scott, when are you putting this up? Tuesday?
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this podcast, go into your marketplace on Xbox, PS4. Look for it immediately. They have a free pass right now. I don't know what all it includes. I think it includes like some power tokens, which gives you some cards and a bunch of extra stuff. It's about $15 worth of stuff you can get for free. It's only for a couple more days. Hopefully this goes up in time. I think it will. But yeah, go give it a look.
So, Cody.
Yes.
When you started off, you said, if you're listening to this podcast, how the hell are they going to hear
specific time frame?
That's what I meant. At this
the
time.
podcast
if they listen to it in time.
Well, didn't you know we're on all the platforms now, and it gets beamed directly into people's heads as well.
Ooh.
That's due to Apple Podcast.
Jeff, you know, I've said many things to you.
Everybody who owns an iPhone, they get it immediately beamed into their head.
Nice.
Jeff, we've been friends for a while now.
That's the new thing.
And I'm just going to say it.
I like where this is going.
F*** you, Jeff.
Yeah, I knew it.
Oh, yeah, you better know it.
Oh, gosh. Anybody have anything else they'd like to add? Cody?
Oh, I have a lot I'd like to add.
Elliot?
But listen.
Oh, what do you want to
I'm not trying to abuse the beep button. I warned him up front. I said, I'm going to have to say it here. Get the beeper ready. And you are just taking it for granted.
Oh, I just let it fly. I don't care.
You should. It's not a good look for you.
So glad I don't have to edit. I'm just going to say that.
I don't cuss that much on the podcast, except for that one episode. That was intentional.
I hope our
Or the sniffles.
I hope our listeners in India enjoy this crap that you guys do.
They clearly do. We're huge in India.
Which I still haven't understood.
I don't get that. I don't understand why. Yeah,
so when we keep
61%
growing,
of our listeners
what
in
we can
India.
do
Thank you, guys.
is do a live episode in Dubai. So keep listening. Keep giving the thumbs
if
up.
somebody will pay for
Support
my
us
plane
on our
tickets to
future
Dubai, I will.
Patreon. That's bound to happen at some point. And we're coming to Dubai.
Hey, if somebody will pay for the plane ticket, I will go to Dubai.
There is a link in our show notes that people can support us with. It actually goes straight through our Anchor program. They can donate to us that way. We don't actually have to set up a Patreon, but I mean, I guess we could set up a Patreon so that people could get some sort of payback from it. Because that's what most people do with Patreon,
like
right?
topless pictures.
We'll yes, topless pictures of Cody. Everybody wants that.
Meaty.
Just listen to this baritone.
Oh, don't
course
start.
You want to hear. Of course, you want to see a topless photo of me.
I have a few on my phone.
We could all use pictures of Elliot's neck beard.
I'm just gonna blur out the inappropriate parts. Post that on Twitter.
Oh, so the whole picture would be blurred?
Just a black picture.
Oh, well, thank you for joining us. If you're listening on iTunes, we ask that you would leave us a review. If you can follow us on Twitter at Budget Arcade. From there, you can join our Discord. You can also join our Discord through our show notes. You can also give us money through our show notes. What was the word I wanted? Donate to us through the show notes to help us improve the show. You know, we could get Cody a better microphone.
It's not donate. It's give us money. Give us money.
Yeah. Give us money so Cody
Shirtless
can get a
pics
better
are in the
microphone.
mail.
Yes, you can send any hate mail to budget.arcade@gmail.com. Music is by
My
Stimmage.
mic smells funny.
You can download his You did. You just had to do it, didn't you?
Yep. I had that in my back pocket.
Oh, you jerk. I bet you did. You can download his music at metroidmetal.com, and this has been a Little Gray Boy Podcasting Network production. Game on.
Ba-da-da. Pobble Mub G,